The truth is, you are not tired because life is hard. You are tired because you keep living a life you know you need to change. Every day you delay, a quieter version of you starts disappearing, and if you don't face that tonight, nothing changes, no matter how badly you want it. So if you're done pretending you're fine and you want words that hit you in the chest when your mind starts to quit, stay with me and keep this voice close. You don't need another speech that makes you feel strong for 10 minutes and weak again by morning. You need the truth. The truth is that your life is not waiting on more motivation. It is waiting on one thing: action, real action, honest action, repeated action. And sometimes when your feelings are late, when your confidence is gone, when your mind is a mess, you have to force yourself to take action. Force yourself to take action before you feel brave. Force yourself to take action before you feel ready. Because if you keep waiting to feel different before you move, you will stay in the same place so long that your excuses will start sounding like your personality. I know that pain. I know what it feels like to lie in bed with plans in your head and weight in your chest. I know what it feels like to say, tomorrow will be different, and then watch tomorrow turn into the same old day. Days become weeks, weeks become months, months become years. And the scary part is not that life is hard. The scary part is how easy it is to get used to living beneath your own potential. Think about that. A man can get used to almost anything. He can get used to being broke. He can get used to being distracted. He can get used to breaking promises to himself. That is the truth bomb nobody wants to hear. Your biggest danger is not failure. Your biggest danger is comfort inside a life that is too small for you. The first thing you have to understand is that action does not come after certainty. Action creates certainty. A cold car does not warm up by sitting in the driveway. It warms up when the engine turns over. A rusty gate does not loosen by being stared at. It loosens when it moves. Your life is the same way. The first push feels ugly. The first step feels heavy. The first phone call feels awkward. The first workout feels pathetic. Good. Let it feel pathetic. Let it feel clumsy. Let it feel small. Small action is still action, and action is the beginning of power. Most people think they need a sign. One more book, one more video, one more perfect plan. But the truth is, the sign has already been given. The discomfort you feel is the sign. The frustration you feel is the sign. The way your spirit gets restless at night is the sign. That ache is not there to punish you. It is there to wake you up. It is life tapping you on the shoulder and saying, this is not all you're made for. But life can tap you and tap you and tap you. And if you keep rolling over and going back to sleep, nothing changes. You say you want a better body, but you don't move. You say you want peace, but you keep feeding chaos. You say you want money, but you keep wasting your hours. No blame, no shame, just truth. You cannot think your way out of a life you behaved your way into. Let that settle in. At some point, the conversation has to end and the movement has to begin. At some point, you have to get up. At some point, you have to stop asking your feelings for permission. Feelings are real, but they are poor leaders. If you follow them every day, you will build a life on sand. Some mornings you will feel strong. Some mornings you will feel empty. Some mornings you will feel nothing at all. Move anyway. Force yourself to take action anyway. That is where your new life begins. And understand this clearly. Nobody is coming to drag you into your purpose. No one is coming to wake you up at dawn and say, I believe in you more than you believe in yourself. No one is coming to make the calls, fill out the forms, do the push-ups, save the money, end the bad habit, clean the room, write the page, or start the business for you. No one is coming, not because you are not worthy, but because this part belongs to you. This is the price of becoming who you say you want to be. Not in blaming, not in complaining, not in waiting, but in ownership. The person capable of changing your life is already in the mirror, and that person is begging you to move. You do not need to leap across the whole river tonight. You just need to step off the bank. You do not need to conquer the year tonight. You just need to win the hour in front of you. You need honest movement. One task, one page, one call, one walk, one decision. That is how the engine turns. That is how the gate swings. That is how a sleeping life starts breathing again. So before we go any further, ask yourself this. How much longer are you going to call your fear patience? Maybe the reason you feel overwhelmed is because you keep staring at the whole house instead of laying one brick. That is how most people lose heart. They look at the dream like it has to appear overnight. They want the finished body without the workouts, the steady money without the long mornings, the strong mind without the lonely choices. They want the house, but they hate the bricks. And life does not hand out houses. Life hands out bricks. One day, one choice, one habit, one promise, one brick at a time. Think about a man building his own home. He does not wake up and see walls, windows, and a roof by lunch. He sees dirt. He sees sweat. He sees one brick in his hand, then another, then another. It looks slow. It looks boring. It even looks pointless to people passing by. But he knows something they don't know. Every brick has memory, every small action stays, every honest effort counts, every quiet decision stacks. It all counts, even when nobody claps. This is where people sabotage themselves. They disrespect small wins. They think if a step is small, it must not matter. That lie has stolen years from good people. Because the truth is, Your life is almost never changed by one giant moment. It is changed by small acts repeated until they become your nature. A man does not become strong because he once lifted something heavy. He becomes strong because he kept lifting. A writer does not become great because she wrote one good page. She becomes great because she kept writing. A peaceful person is not someone who never feels chaos. A peaceful person is someone who keeps choosing better habits when chaos comes knocking. Brick by brick, day by day, choice by choice. You keep saying, I need to get my life together. Good. Then get your next hour together. That is where your life is hiding. Not in some perfect future version of you, not in a magical Monday, not in next month. Your life is hiding inside today, inside this hour, inside the next action you either take or avoid. That's why so many people stay stuck. They are always planning their comeback in the future, but never showing up in the present. They live in someday I will get serious, someday I will start, someday I will be disciplined, and someday is the busiest graveyard on earth. Dreams buried there, plans buried there, courage buried there, because someday never had a calendar date. You want confidence? Build evidence? You want pride? Keep promises? You want momentum? Respect the little moves? This is not glamorous. It is not flashy. It will not always feel inspiring, but it will work. And working beats wishing every single time. Force yourself to take action when the action is tiny. Force yourself to take action when the result is invisible. Force yourself to take action when nobody knows you are trying, because that is how self-respect grows. Not by talking big, not by posting quotes, not by dreaming louder, but by doing the next thing you said you would do. And let me tell you something else. Small actions do more than move your life forward. They clean your mind. A messy room makes you feel behind. Clean one shelf and your spirit can breathe. An avoided conversation sits in your chest like a stone. Speak the truth and you stand straighter. One action can quiet a whole storm of anxiety because action gives the mind proof that you are no longer helpless. This is why discipline is not punishment. It is construction. Every time you do what needs to be done, you place another brick in the life you want to live. Miss a day? Fine. Do not miss the lesson. Got distracted? Fine. Return quickly. Fell short? Fine. Tell the truth and lay the next brick. Strong people are not perfect builders. They are steady builders. They do not spend all day crying over the brick they dropped yesterday. They pick up the next one. They keep working. They keep shaping a life that can hold weight when storms come. One day, if you stay with it, people will look at your life and call it impressive. They will see the house. They will see the peace. They will see the strength. What they will not see is every small brick you laid when you were tired, doubtful, lonely, and unseen. But you will know. You will know that your future was not built by one heroic day. It was built by many ordinary days that you refused to waste. So let me ask you something while the cement is still wet in your hands. What brick are you going to lay before this day ends? Now let's go deeper, because action is not only about what you do, it is also about who you become every time you do it. Every promise you keep to yourself is a vote for a new identity. Every promise you break is also a vote. That is why this matters so much. You are not just trying to finish tasks. You are teaching yourself what kind of person you are. And if you keep telling yourself, I will do it later, then later, then later, you are training your own mind not to trust you. That is a dangerous place to live. Imagine doing 10 push-ups every day. 10 is not a miracle. 10 is not a movie scene. 10 is small. But 10 every day whispers a message into your soul. I do what I say. I show up when I don't feel like it. I can trust myself. That whisper becomes a voice. That voice becomes identity. And identity becomes power. On the other hand, if you promise 10 and do 0, promise 10 and do 0, promise 10 and do 0, you start hearing a different voice. I talk, but I don't move. I start, but I don't continue. I hope, but I don't follow through. After a while, you stop believing your own words. And when a man stops believing himself, even simple things start to feel impossible. That is why forcing yourself to take action is not cruel. It is an act of rescue. You are pulling your own name out of the mud. You are rebuilding trust with the person in the mirror. Read that again in your spirit. The person capable of changing your life is already in the mirror. But that person needs proof. Proof that you mean it. Proof that your words are not smoke. Proof that when the hour comes, you will answer it. No excuses, no waiting, no rescue, just action. A lot of people are not lazy. They are heartbroken with themselves. They are tired of hearing their own promises and seeing no change. Tired of starting over, tired of acting confident in public and feeling weak in private. If that is you, hear me clearly. Do not hate yourself into growth. It will not work. Speak firm, but speak fair. Hold yourself high, but hold yourself with love. The kind of love that says, I know you are tired, but get up anyway. I know you are scared, but make the call anyway. I know you failed last week, but show up again anyway. Your life changes when your inner voice changes. Not because words alone fix anything, but because the way you talk to yourself determines whether you act or avoid. If your inner voice says, it's too late, why try? Then you will sit down. If your inner voice says, it's hard, but I can do hard things, you will stand up. If your inner voice says, one step matters, then you will move. That is why you have to guard your self-talk like you guard your future. Stop calling yourself weak because you had a bad week. Stop calling yourself a failure because the road is taking time. Stop turning temporary struggle into permanent identity. You are not your last last mistake. You are not your worst habit. You are not your current confusion. You are the person making the next choice, and that choice still has power. So build a habit of keeping small promises. Wake when you said you would, finish what you said you would, walk when you said you would, save what you said you would, leave what you said you would leave. It sounds simple because it is simple. But simple is not easy, and easy is not what makes a strong life. Repetition does, integrity does, quiet consistency does. Let that settle in. The strongest people you know are not always the most gifted. Many times they are just the ones who stopped negotiating with themselves. And please hear this part. Do not wait to feel like a new person before you act like a new person. Act first. Identity follows action. Confidence follows proof. Peace follows order. Momentum follows movement. You do not become disciplined and then act disciplined. You act disciplined until discipline starts to feel like your own name. That is why I keep saying it. Force yourself to take action. Force yourself to take action when your old self begs for one more excuse. Force yourself to take action when your weak pattern says, maybe tomorrow. Tomorrow has stolen enough from you. There will come a night when you look in the mirror and see it. Not perfection, not fame, not some movie version of success. You will see trust in your own eyes again. You will see a person who keeps his word, a person who can carry weight, a person who does not need applause to stay on track. That is wealth, that is power, that is freedom. So when you face yourself tonight in the quiet, answer me honestly. When you look in the mirror, will you trust the person staring back? Now let's talk about patience, because forcing yourself to take action does not mean demanding instant reward. A seed does not break the ground the same day it is planted. A farmer does not scream at the soil because he cannot see roots by sunset. He plants, he waters, he protects, he returns. That is how life works. We live in a world that wants harvest without waiting, fruit without seasons, victory without process. But real growth is slower than your emotions and deeper than your eyes can see. Many people quit because they do not see results fast enough. They start working out for a week and feel disappointed. They start saving money for a month and feel like nothing changed. They start reading, praying, building, healing, and because the ground above them looks the same, they assume the ground below is empty. That is a mistake. Some of the most important work of your life happens where no one can see it. Roots grow in the dark. Character grows in the quiet. Discipline grows in hidden rooms. Think about that. The part of you that will hold success later is being built long before success arrives. This is why your early season matters so much. Not because it looks impressive, but because it decides what kind of tree you become. If you keep digging up your seed every 3 days to check on it, you will kill it. If you keep changing direction every week because growth feels slow, you will exhaust yourself. Pick your ground, plant your effort, water it daily, stay long enough to give life a chance to answer. That takes faith. Not loud faith, quiet faith, the kind that shows up on boring days, the kind that keeps going when emotion is gone, the kind that says, I may not see change yet, but I will still do the work. And let me be honest with you. There are seasons when action feels lonely. Seasons when your friends do not understand your boundaries. Seasons when your family thinks you are being too serious. Seasons when your old habits call your name like old friends. Seasons when the result is late and the bills are early. Seasons when it feels like nothing is happening, but something is happening. You are becoming the kind of person who can live a different life. That is not nothing, that is everything. A weak person only works when the weather is nice. A strong person learns how to work in winter, when the mood is low, when the room is quiet, when the progress is invisible, when the applause is missing. That is when your roots decide whether they are real. No excuses, no drama, no self-pity, just faithful action. Because the truth is, the harvest is not just built by your big moments. It is built by your hidden ones. The days nobody knows you fought temptation and won. The nights nobody knows you kept working instead of giving up. The mornings nobody knows you got up and tried again. Those days matter. Those days count. Those days shape the future you keep praying for. Let me say something that may sting a little. You do not need constant motivation. You need a longer memory. Remember what your old life cost you. Remember what delay did to your peace. Remember how it felt to waste another year. Remember the pain of staying the same. If you remember that honestly, you will stop romanticizing comfort. Comfort is expensive when it keeps you small. Ease is dangerous when it robs your future. A soft day can create a hard life. A hard day can create a strong life. Choose your hard. Choose it on purpose. And do not confuse rest with retreat. Rest is wise. Retreat is fear in a better outfit. Rest helps you return stronger. Retreat keeps you hiding. Sleep, breathe, recover, yes, but do not disappear. Do not abandon the field because the weather changed, seasons change, feelings change, results change. But if you keep showing up, you change too. One day, the ground will break. One day, the shoot will rise. One day, the people who saw nothing will suddenly call it luck. But you will know it was not luck. It was roots. It was winter work. It was daily water. It was the choice to force yourself to take action even when the soil gave you no applause. So tell me, when your season feels cold and quiet, are you still willing to plant, water, and wait? Now I want to talk about focus, because action without focus can turn into motion without progress. Sunlight touches the whole yard and keeps it warm. But when sunlight passes through a magnifying glass, it can start a fire. Same sun, different focus. Your energy works the same way. If you spread yourself across 10 distractions, 5 half-made plans, endless scrolling, random people, and weak habits, you will stay warm but never burn. You will stay busy but not changed. You will move but not arrive. Look at your days honestly. How much of your life leaks away in small holes? 5 minutes here, 20 minutes there, one lazy choice, one distracted hour, one useless argument, one more scroll before bed. It feels small, but life leaks one drop at a time. And then people wake up shocked that they are behind. They are not behind because one disaster destroyed them. They are behind because 1,000 tiny distractions drained them. Think about that. A man can lose his future quietly, not with a crash, with a drift. That is why there comes a point when you must protect your attention like a man protects water in the desert. Your attention is your life in usable form. Where it goes, your future goes. If your attention lives in drama, you will produce confusion. If your attention lives in envy, you will produce bitterness. If your attention lives in comfort, you will produce weakness. But if your attention lives on the work, on the truth, on the next necessary step, you will produce change. Real change. Slow at first, then steady, then undeniable. Most people do not need more time. They need fewer leaks, fewer distractions, fewer voices in their ear, fewer open tabs in their mind. You do not need to do everything. You need to do what matters and keep doing it. One target, one mission, one next move. That is how fire starts. That is how momentum builds. And yes, this will cost you something. Focus always costs you options. If you want a strong body, it will cost you some comfort. If you want peace, it will cost you some chaos. If you want purpose, it will cost you some approval. If you want greatness, it will cost you some wasted nights. You cannot keep every door open and still walk deeply through one. At some point, you must choose. Choose the better pain, choose the better story, choose the life that asks more from you and gives more back. Maybe the reason you feel weak is not because you lack talent. Maybe you are just too divided. Half in, half out. One foot on the gas, one foot on the brake. Wanting growth but protecting habits that kill it. Wanting peace but feeding noise. Wanting a new life but entertaining the same old mind. Split focus creates split results. But when you decide, really decide, something powerful happens. Energy returns, clarity returns, strength returns. Because decision is a form of power, not later, not someday, now. So make your life simpler. Cut the extra noise, put the phone down, leave the empty circle, turn the screen off, clear the desk, write the list, do the first task, finish it, then do the second. Your mind was not made to carry this much clutter. Your spirit was not made to live this scattered. Breathe, choose, move. There is peace in direction. There is power in focus. There is dignity in becoming a person who does not chase every impulse. And let me give you one more picture before we close. Imagine your future self standing in a doorway, watching you live this next hour. He sees what you open. He sees what you avoid. He sees what you say yes to. He sees what you keep postponing. He is not asking you to be perfect. He is asking you to be aligned. He is asking you to stop betraying the life he is trying to hand back to you. Because that future is real. It is being built right now. In choices, in focus, in action. Force yourself to take action and your life gets sharper. Delay, drift, divide, and your life gets dull. So answer this with your whole chest. If your future self walked into this room right now, would he thank you for what you do next? You were never just tired because life was hard. You were tired because a part of you knew you were meant for more and you kept making peace with less. But that can end here. Not next week. Not when the stars line up. Here. In this breath. In this decision. In this hour. Picture yourself a few months from now. The room is cleaner. Your eyes are steadier. Your mind is quieter. Promises are being kept. You wake up with less dread. You walk with more presence. You do not need to fake confidence because you built real confidence. Brick by brick. Step by step. You built it. Picture the phone call you finally made. Picture the habit you finally broke. Picture the morning you got up without arguing with the alarm. Picture looking back at this version of you with compassion, not shame. Because this was the night you stopped waiting to feel ready and started moving anyway. Let that settle in. The life you want is not hiding from you. It is hiding inside the actions you keep postponing. The peace you want is on the other side of order. The confidence you want is on the other side of proof. The future you want is on the other side of the next hard step. So when your mind whispers later, answer it with now. When your fear whispers wait, answer it with move. When your old life calls your name, answer it with silence and work. No one is coming to make this easy, but you do not need easy. You need truth. You need movement. So get up, clean it up, write it down, make the call, take the walk, do the first rep, read the first page, save the first dollar, tell the truth. End the excuse. Begin. Because one day you will smile at how close you came to wasting your own life. One day you will thank the pain for waking you up. One day you will hear that first hard truth again, and instead of feeling exposed, you will feel free. You will know it was true. You were not tired because life was hard. You were tired because you had not yet decided to live all the way. Now decide, now move, now become. No excuses, no waiting, no quitting, just action, just courage, just becoming unstoppable.